we've learned how to use our voice to identify if a chord has a do or a ti in it, we're now going to listen to a chord progression and see how many of the chords have a do in them. Now the progression will contain do and ti chords, but I'll make it even a little simpler. Of the do chords we'll only be listening for two, a 1 or a 4. And of the ti chords, we're only going to be listening for a 5. So these are our 3 Roman numeral options. And we'll get to that in a little bit. And so you notice I have 5 blank spaces here, and on these 5 spaces we'll write either do or ti as we hear it. Now in class we'll put this in between a grand staff. There'll be a stave up here and a stave down here, but I don't have staff paper that big, so we just have to imagine that. So the first thing that we do is to tonicize so that we know where do is, and then as the progression is played, I will sing do. And if the note that I'm singing is matching or is consonant with the chord, then we know that it's a do chord. If it's dissonant, if it doesn't match, then we know that it's not a do chord. In this case, it's going to be our ti chord. So here we go. Let's tonicize first. Mi, sol, la, sol, fa, re, ti, do. So this is our do that we'll hold out. So let's listen to the progression. We'll hear 4 clicks, and then the progression will begin. Do, 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 do. That doesn't sound right. Do. Alright, so I wrote D for all the chords that the do I sang was consonant with the chord that was heard. Now this 4th chord was not consonant, it was dissonant with the do I was singing, so we can assume that it's going to be a ti chord. Alright, and so we're going to listen to the progression again, and as we listen to it, let's all sing either do or ti as the chord progression moves along, and we'll confirm that this is actually a ti chord. So let's listen one more time and sing. Do, 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 ti. Now that's consonant. Do. And that's why we call this the do-ti-re line, because it moves horizontally and we sing it kind of like as a melody. So now let's figure out the Roman numerals. So we know this ti chord is going to be a 5, since that's our only option. And it's also a good bet that whenever you see a ti chord preceding the final chord, it's going to be a 5, more than likely. We can also assume that this last chord and the first chord are going to be do chords. Since it's going to be a do chord, it's going to be a 1 chord, because that's the most important chord of the key. Now these middle 2 do chords we're not quite sure about. They could be a 1 or a 4. So we're going to listen to the progression one more time, and I'm going to sing do, mi, so, which are the 3 syllables in our 1 chord, and I'm going to sing that during these chords. And if it matches with the do, mi, so, we know it's going to be a 1 chord. If it doesn't match, it's going to be the 4 chord. So let's just listen one more time. Do, mi, so, do, mi, so. It doesn't match. Do, mi, so. Now that one matched. So we know this 3rd one is a 1 chord, and this is not a 1 chord, so we know it has to be a 4 chord. And those are our Roman numerals. If Roman numerals aren't really your thing, or you're not familiar with them, we can do it in chord symbols as well. So this would be an F chord, since we're in the key of F. This is B flat. Here's an F, C, and F.